to run our business.
I would say we're much more, as an organization, much more comfortable today acknowledging and identifying the gaps than we were 5 years ago or 7 years ago. Just, I think there was more of you wanted to, put your head in the sand. It took you a long time to figure out. And now what I'm finding at all levels is a more candor around what we don't know, and a comfort level in seeking out that information from other sources. And the knowledge gap can be filled different ways, and sometimes it is targeting an expert that can literally come in and help you for a moment in time, because that's what you need. I think the trick is then, because we don't want to be dependent on consultants, how do you transfer that knowledge and bring it in-house quickly so you don't have to keep going out? But I've just found overall, in terms of attitude towards the gap, we're much more open and spending time to try to really identify. So if we as an organization want to grow through acquisition, and if we want to grow in a global market, do we really have the skill set to do that properly today? And are taking a hard look at it and then looking for creative solutions.
It's interesting because being new to oil and gas, I was not aware of how fast the industry is moving and how fast the technology is changing. I just, naive thinking, drill a well, oil or not. You have shale play. It's simple mind. I have an engineer husband who explains it in more detail to me. But what's interesting in our organization is a couple of things. When you go through such growth, you're buying talent. And there needs to be a balance between buying and building talent. And we've seen that shift through our recent endeavors, as well as through employee feedback. And that's made us focus this year on developing our people as our #1 priority, and shifting from being aggressive in the market to buying that talent, to shifting to having the conversations and developing our people, whether it be from a career progression or technical competency. And one in particular focus or initiative that we've taken is what we call DNETs, Discipline Networks. And there are 5 DNETs in our organization that focus on key roles and or competencies, such as geophysicists and geologists or commercial professionals. And the whole point is creating that community of experts and a global community of experts that can call upon each other and leverage the knowledge, the experience, the skills in real life situations, as well as building that knowledge base through other means, virtual learning, conferences, etc. And it's taking it upon ourselves to build the talent versus just going out and buying, because eventually buying will be tapped out and your employees that are in your organization won't be engaged, won't feel that they're being invested in you.
We've talked a lot about change, but and about new things and evolving, but there's also a role for ritual, and there's a role for things that are part, and we were chatting at dinner about this. I'd like, and once again, real short, what's a ritual in your organization that's not new, that's been there for a while, that you think is also part of culture and is part of what makes your organization tick? Because I think we can go overboard to say everything's changing, everything's new, let's go to the web, without realizing that there are fundamental rituals that are also really strong and positive. So could you each mention a ritual?
Yeah, certainly in a CA firm, the process of getting your CA, the study, the writing, the uniform final exam, which is once a year, the Marks Day party, the cutting off of the tie if you wear a tie to the celebration party. Those are all rituals, and it's, in a way, it's like a fraternity. You feel you're now part of this something that nobody else is part of.
Right.
Well, certainly a ritual for many of you in this room and for my organization is that we're finding talent, and that person with the talent wins the game. And so it's a ritual that never goes away. And with all the technology and all the changes and all the new systems and processes, at the end of the day, it's all about having the talent in hand is the winner of the game.
This is a tough one. We've got, because we've got a lot of field organizations, we've got different rituals at different locations. I remember someone was in from one of the plants and said to me, "You corporate people never stop and talk to each other." Like, pardon me? They actually, so out in the field, there's more ritual around actual, I'll call it social gathering, how they meet, when they meet. It's the same time every day for a period of time, and it's part of their custom. And then more broadly, I'd say our rituals, and it builds on our culture, are around what we celebrate and what we do as a broader team, whether that's United Way, which has become, I would say, a ritual in our organization more broadly. And things like celebrations around Christmas, like seasonal celebrations for people. And then out in the field and in Calgary, there's different rituals that exist that keep people connected via whether it's communication, how they gather, when they gather. And so and if you try to take any of those away, which has happened in the past, you will hear about it for the next 20 years in the organization. So.
I would probably defer this question to my team, given I've 5 months and I'm experiencing different rituals that I'm not sure I would necessarily say we want to keep. But one thing I would say I'm starting to see, and I think part of this is because of the change. There's what some may know as old talisman and new talisman, and they're very different eras that are blending into each other, and there are absolutely rituals in the field that I just don't have the exposure yet to comment on. One thing I am seeing, though, as a ritual in creating our new culture is the thank you and the recognition. We are working extremely hard at a fast pace, as many of you are, and what I am seeing as a common ritual is just stopping and acknowledging people, looking them in the eye and actually saying thank you, from the CEO right down to a new hire. And I think that's a very easy ritual, which just seriously feeds itself over time. As one person does it, another person thinks about doing it, and it's quite intoxicating as it takes pace.
In my company, we put buyers and sellers of stock together, and over the years, the way that has happened has changed, or the back end of that has changed. So whereas the stock exchanges used to be manual and traders were on the floor signaling each other, and now it's all computers. The bottom line is our side is still about relationships with our clients, knowing what they want, what they need, and finding them that company that they want to buy. And so that ritual, I guess, between buyer and seller of stock, or us putting them together, that hasn't changed. You know, it's tradition in the securities industry that when you raise a lot of money by selling the stock of a company, you do big financing, you close with a big closing dinner or a closing party, and it's a chance for everyone who worked on the financing to get together and celebrate hard work and success, and that has not changed either.
So I'm not sure whether this is, ritual or discipline. In some respects, you talked about path to partner, which, I could, imagine is a ritual within a private accounting firm or consulting firm that's a private partnership. But given, that isn't necessarily what everybody wants to do, to me, what's important is to maintain but enhance the boring, in some respects, but critically important discipline of performance reviews. So for us, there is some ritual around mid-year and year-end reviews, but the detail and definition and effort that goes into that, because we've now got people that are more flexible in terms of their careers, they're changing roles more often, it's much more open and communicative, culture. So there's a lot more feedback and information about your performance. So to me, a high-performing culture is really important, and a ritual around high-quality, well-disciplined, transparent feedback is critical.
A personal, but not too personal question. If you couldn't do the job you're doing now at all, different career, different organization, what would be sort of almost a fantasy other job for you?
This is on tape, we can't say that.
Yeah, we can put a blob over your face afterwards.
we were talking about this